Hey, nerdy sports fan here. We're doing record predictions for every team in the league. We're into the AFC West now. Let's dig into these Raiders. Now, the Raiders, construction got backed up. They were supposed to start this season in their brand new stadium. Hopefully it still happens. It already looks pretty damn cool. The Death Star is going to be rocking for week 1 if it's operational. Vegas is the perfect city to now host the Raiders. It really is. If there is a team that matches a city's personality perfectly at all in this world, it's the Raiders and Las Vegas. So very happy to see them find a quality landing spot after the bad marriage that was Oakland. So, starting the season off, they're on the road, unfortunately, to the Panthers. But hey, that's a win. Okay, the Panthers have so many moving parts this offseason, and the Raiders actually have continuity for once. They've had the same head coach with the same quarterback, same offensive set for a few years in a row. Weird. Yeah. So with that continuity, you're going to take advantage of another team's lack of it. There's just no relationship right now with Teddy Bridgewater, his offensive line, his receivers. That offense is going to be all sorts of discombobulated. They've drafted so many defensive players. At least half of those guys are going to be expected to start because the Panthers' defense was god-awful last year. There's just so many factors going against them. New head coach. Just, the Raiders got this in the bag. Okay? So you're starting 1-0, which is good. All right. The Saints. Yeah, you're losing that one. Okay? I get it. You're getting them at home. And it's the home opener in the Death Star. There's going to be energy flying all over the place. Doesn't matter. Drew Brees is going to be on a damn mission this year. Because, well, it's probably the last, if not second to last season, he really has an honest chance, a real crack at the Super Bowl. So, I just don't see him losing to a roster that's, let's face it, not as good as the Saints. Okay? You're building. You're doing great things with the Raiders. You really are. But the Saints, yeah, you can make a real argument for them being the best-built roster in the league. So, yeah, you're not competing with that this year. They're going to be on a tear. All right. At the Patriots, I'm putting this in the toss-up category. Before I go any further, some games I'm definitely going to say are a win. Some games I'm definitely going to say are a loss. The rest are going to go into more of a toss-up situation because there's a lot of parity in the league, and I'm not so egocentric as to think that I can definitely call every single game as a win or a loss from the parking lot. Okay? Now, the reasoning behind this is Bill Belichick's still there. That defense is still quite good. They've had some losses. Sure, I get it. Not as big a loss as they had on the offensive side with Tom Brady skipping town. But their home field advantage has been fantastic. Belichick has proven that he can win with quarterbacks outside of Brady, albeit in smaller sample sizes. But he went a whole season with Matt Castle, and they still won the division out there. So, yeah, I just don't think he's going to be a cakewalk. That said, you have serious offensive advantages. Your defense is probably at least close to where theirs is, considering they've had defensive losses, but it doesn't have the coaching theirs does. So there's a lot of things that are good on one side, good on the other, and it's a road game. So I just don't see it as a guaranteed lock of a win. All right, so Buffalo. You're getting me at home, so that's a toss-up game. Were it on the road, I'd say that's a loss. Buffalo's a damn good team this year. They were a damn good team last year. Defense is absolutely nasty. And you're only expecting Josh Allen to get better still at this point. So, the fact that you're getting at home, very good thing. Yeah, it's a bit of a toss-up because you get that, 3-point bump that most bookies will say is the home field advantage. And that's enough, in my mind, to make this a game that's just too close to call. All right, so at the Chiefs, that's a loss. you're improving by leaps and bounds. Is a much better roster than it was before Mayock and Gruden took the helm. You're just not on the Chiefs level right now. All right, especially with Derek Carr. Look, I don't think Derek Carr is going to last long term with the Raiders, with Gruden. I think he's going to want to handpick his guy to groom for the future. But right now, with Derek Carr, this team's just not ready to hang with the Chiefs. It just isn't. All right, Ruggs might be the guy that you think he is. He might be the Tyreek Hill that you think you need, but never first year for receivers. Just never. So maybe next year, not this year. All right. You get the bye week in week 6. That is a crap deal. All right. The Raiders are a legitimate playoff contending team. Getting a bye week this early is absolute trash. All right. You want that rest week as late as possible so you can, just build up for the playoffs. And you're not getting that advantage. It's not good. The scheduling gods did not do you any favors there. All right, so Tampa at home. That's a toss-up. You got Tom Brady. All right. Brady with a dynamic offensive-minded head coach. Fantastic offensive skill position players that he hasn't had a chance to deal with talent like that since Randy Moss left New England. So, man, they've got multiple very good tight ends in Gronk, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. Remember the last time Tom Brady had multiple good tight ends? I get it. One of them was a murderer. But, Aaron Hernandez made that offense for New England really difficult to deal with. So I just think there's so much that Tom Brady's got going on for him down there that not having Belichick anymore and having a really bad defensive secondary in Tampa Bay just barely makes this a toss-up game. Tampa's going to be strong. All right, they are going to be strong. All right. So, at the Browns, toss-up. I have no faith in Baker Mayfield to right the ship on that offense. All right? He is not the leader they need him to be. Their defense is pretty damn strong. All right, Myles Garrett is back from his suspension from lumping up on Pittsburgh's QB with his own helmet. Denzel Ward, this guy's going to be one of, if not the best defensive back in the league this year. He came in as a rookie as one of the best. So, yeah, he's only getting better. So the defense for the Browns is going to be a problem to deal with. Just their offense, led by Baker Mayfield and now a very young head coach, I don't think they have the leadership to really get all those pieces on the same page. Odell and Jarvis they're going to be difficult to deal with. And I don't know. There's going to be enough of a problem on the offensive side that I still have very little faith in the Browns this year. But because of the strength of the defense and the just sheer talent that they've assembled there, this is a toss-up game. All right, so going on the road to the Chargers, that's a W. The Chargers are going to be in disarray this year. All right, when you have a veteran quarterback that really honestly thinks they can be a starter in Tyrod Taylor, and he's got a lot of reasons to think that he can be the starter. The rest of the league doesn't think that he's the man. And obviously his own team doesn't because they drafted the man in Justin Herbert. That's going to really loom over this team. All right, the Chargers are going to have that quarterback question up until the moment they decide to say, all right, Tyrod, you're done. Herbert's in there. That might not happen until the end of the season. It might be a similar situation with what the Broncos did last year, where they just waited until they were truly mathematically out of it, and there were injuries and a bye week, and then they finally threw the kid in there. But I see those questions looming over this team in a way that will prevent them from having enough chemistry to really put things together and get winning momentum going. So, you get Denver at home. That's a win. All right? They're building and they're improving much like you are. They're just a year behind. And they've got a rookie, well, not rookie quarterback, but second-year quarterback who got very little play time last year. I don't see them coming into the black hole and posting a W. It's not going to happen. So you're beating the Broncos at home for certain. Chiefs, you get them at home. It's a toss-up game. At this point in the year, offense has got everything clicking. And the offense is the real strength of the Raiders. Gruden knows his shit. Okay? So, considering your offense is going to be able to put up points and move on their defense, much like their offense is going to be able to put up points and move on yours. Maybe not quite the same talent level, sure, but you also have home field advantage. There's enough factors there to make that a toss-up sort of situation. It's going to be a fun game to watch in Vegas with the Chiefs. All right, so at the Falcons. I'm only putting this in the toss-up category because it's on the road and it's after Chiefs week. Okay, it's going to be very, very hard to get up for a game against the Falcons, who are going to be absolute hot garbage this year after Chiefs week. That being said, they're still hot garbage. So in spite of the fact that you're going to come in pretty listless, you still got a real honest chance of beating them in their home field because they're going to be bad. All right, at the Jets, I'm still putting this in the toss-up because I just think you're going to be looking past them. The Colts are a more dangerous team, and I think the focus is going to be there. The Jets have Darnold. He might put things together. He definitely hasn't shown he certainly will. He was seeing ghosts a few games last year. But there's a real crack at Darnold being the man there. And you just don't know what that's going to be at this point in the year. Last offseason for the Jets was god-awful. This offseason's been pretty damn good. They're fixing their offensive line problems. They still have some good defensive personnel, not great defensive personnel. There's enough there to say that a road game against them isn't a lock of a win. That being said, I do think the Colts are going to be a win. Mostly because, look, they've got a great offensive line. They've got really good defensive personnel, sure. What the hell is Phillip Rivers going to be for that team? Really? I mean, he was trash for the Chargers last year. He was the sole reason they lost as many games as they did. Chargers defense is damn good. So, do you really think that just not having that offensive line protection, that extra 0.3 of a second before the defender gets in your face, is the deciding factor in whether or not Phillip Rivers is a Pro Bowl quarterback versus a chump? I don't think that's enough. I think he's spent. And at this point in the season especially, I don't think there's any gas left in the tank for that man. And they don't have anybody behind him that's really any real threat either. So yeah, you're going to beat the Colts. And we get the Chargers at home. That's a win. You know, if the Chargers can't lock up a win in their own stadium, they're sure as shit not going to lock one up in the black hole. Ain't going to happen. Chargers are going to be a bit of a pushover this year. Dolphins, you're winning that one. You get them at home, the Dolphins are improving, sure. They're way behind, all right? They're a year or two behind where the Raiders are at in their build. And at that point in the year, they're probably going to be starting Tua. And a rookie quarterback, I just don't see him stringing together wins against a solid playoff caliber team in the Raiders. Lastly, you're going to the Broncos, and I'm only putting this in the toss-up category because you might not actually be starting everybody. All right? At this point in the year, with the strength of schedule, the games that you should actually just lock down as a win, there's going to be enough there to say, hey, can a win actually help us? So that's the thought process you're in that last game. There might not be a benefit to actually putting your starters out there. If you've already got a playoff spot locked and that last win isn't going to get you into home game or a bye, there's no point in starting anybody. So toss up with that last game. If you do need to start your starters, that's a win. But again, toss up. So out of the games that I think are an absolute lock, you're 6-2. Take the remaining games, split them down the middle. That's a 10-6 year, and that is my prediction for these Las Vegas Raiders, making them second in the division and a playoff team. It's going to be a fun year, Raiders fans. It really is. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Come football season, hit me up on Patreon, because most of my content is actually fantasy football related, and you need help starting your, setting your lineups, setting what your draft order should be. I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, fellas.